This is the crucial element that both liberals and conservatives can miss because it's so narrow. The gate is so narrow here, right? When Burke talks about the divine right filtering through, he's sort of channeling Aquinas, right? Filtering through like light through a window into the world, and needing to be returned to and re-understood in each new circumstance. This is the political virtue of prudence, phronesis, right? Practical wisdom. It's because we, in Plato's terms, we live in the realm of that which is perpetually changing. You might make a distinction between the world of being and becoming, right? Plato talks about the forms which exist in perpetual being, and we who are always changing, always decaying, always passing away, as Heraclitus observed, right? And because that's true, even though the right and the true and the good remains the same, we change, and we are constantly falling away from and decaying away from our understanding of the truth, unless we return to the source of it and try to expound it anew in the here and now. And I will say, giving, I guess, some credit to the Supreme Court, which I've been kind of hammering on recently in these episodes, that is ostensibly the idea that they have. They've just been doing it kind of badly because they've taken away, I think, the crucial plank, right? The essential plank of God. And historical analysis, like the kind we've been doing, right, is part of how you determine which of these planks are essential. You see, well, when you take this away, what happens, right? And what I've been arguing is that the God plank is indispensable, right? You can't cut it out. And Newman and Chesterton are giving us a kind of sense of how we might do this kind of politics by looking back at the eternal truths and modeling our changes in the here and now on them. Progressivism, right, is precisely the opposite idea, that like all change is kind of in a forward direction and is good. All regression is backward in time and therefore is bad, right? All return to tradition and so forth. But in some cases, returning to tradition is exactly what's necessary. That's why you get people saying online, return, right? And so those kinds of changes are not progressive at all in the sense of always moving in the same direction. They are traditional and true in the sense of always looking in the same direction, which is at the fixed North Star of the true, the good, and the beautiful. And when you're looking at that fixed North Star, you're always having to navigate in the world because the world is always changing. So there are still going to be reforms. There might be drastic reforms and wild reforms. And yet, you'll be able to tell, right, by careful reasoning, by prayer and discernment, whether you are looking at the North Star and traveling toward it, or whether you're just traveling, right, for the sake of traveling because you're a progressive and all change is good.